A full packaged divorce case, and the divorce case with limited issues in dispute. In a divorce case, basic divorce case, the only issue would be the dissolution of the marriage. That is.
Hello, my wonderful and amazing people. Now, don't hear from Lawyer Emeka, the DPA International Lawyers. Yeah, the only thing is now is the dissolution of the marriage. My people, I greet you in the name of God and I bring you all great tidings. Edochie is in court with his lawyer. Queen May is in court with a lawyer. The only person that wasn't in court today is Auntie Ode, aka Judith Uche Morgalu. She's the only one that didn't show up in court. So, DPA International Lawyers, they are going to be explaining to us how the facts and the fictions and the speculations in these proceedings. He also told us that a lot of bloggers, all the information, the speculation, the lies that the bloggers were putting out there, that those ones are all fallacies, that the case is not ended today, that there's going to be more sections before this case is going to end. He did not give us a date to when the divorce proceedings was going to be concluded, or that the date, the divorce will be dissolved. There was no specified date on that, but it was very sure that there will be more proceedings, there will be more sittings before this case will be over. So I just want to appeal to my fellow bloggers and vloggers, please, let's stay on the facts, so that when we stay on the facts, then we will know how to support our Queen more. We know because if they give ourselves false information, the other party, they think they cannot win over us anyway, because we have a lot of evidence against them. But however, we still have to try and stay on the facts. So I'm going to let you all listen to the lawyer, and then we can go from there. So listen to him, please.
A full packaged divorce case, and the divorce case with limited issues in dispute. In a divorce case, basic divorce case, the only issue would be the dissolution of the marriage. That is, for the court to declare the man and woman no longer husband and wife. In that case, that will be a one-point issue that the court has to decide. And this happens usually in cases where the couple do not have children and do not have any joint property that could come into this dispute. In that case, all they have is that they got married, and they can approach the court and say, we want to dissolve our marriage. And in such case, the court will just be looking at one of those grounds established under the law that will justify dissolution of the marriage. And once such ground exists, the court will dissolve the marriage in a very swift operation. However, you have a different variety, a completely different variety, when it is a marriage involving all the possible issues in contention. And as I've explained to you, in a full package divorce case, you are dealing not just with dissolution of the marriage. There are more things more important than dissolution of the marriage. Such arises, for instance, where you have children. If you have children in a marriage, that means that when you approach the court with a divorce petition, you will at the same time be asking the court to make a determination regarding the custody of the minor children. And also, when the court makes that determination, the court will also have to automatically deal with the issue of access to the other party. That is, the parent, one parent will get custody, the other parent will not get custody. However, the parent that did not get custody will have to get some access. The court carefully sets the rules and standards of access to ensure that it does not become a controversial issue between the two parents who are now ex-spouses. So that's why the court takes its time to make all the necessary analysis to determine which of the parents will have custody of the minor children and to determine what sort of access the other parent would have. So that is involved in this case. Also, once the court determines custody, the court will also determine what amount of money will be allocated to the non-custodial parent in form of child support. The non-custodial parent will be paying that money, which the court will determine based on its evidentiary hearing and set for the non-custodial parents to pay. So that is an important issue before the court in a full package divorce. Also, where the divorcing couple had acquired property jointly during their marriage, the court will be dealing also with the issue of marital property distribution. The court is going to look at what they've got together, the properties they have got together, houses, cars, boats, and investments, and other things, or businesses, and the court will determine how to share this property between the parties. That also is one of the key issues to be decided in a full package divorce case such as this. There may be additional issues involved in a divorce case. For instance, if one of the parties is alleging adultery and decides to make the adulterous partner of her spouse a party to the lawsuit in what we call a third-party lawsuit, that spouse might join the third party, and that becomes in itself another serious issue at stake for a court. In this case, that is the case as well. In this case, in the case of May versus you, all these issues are involved. There is the primary issue of dissolution of the marriage. There is the issue of custody of children. There's going to be the issue of access to the other party. There's going to be the issue of child support from the non-custodial parent. Also, as you know, the couple have been married for many years, so the acquired properties, which will be considered marital property, subject to judicial distribution during divorce. So that is involved in this case as well. And finally, very importantly, May is suing the woman who committed adultery with her husband and who had 2 children with her husband. That is an issue. That is being discussed. That is part of this case. All these things taken together, you can assume that this case is as fully fledged as it could be. It's going to be as difficult or as complex as it could be. The court will need a lot of time to address all these issues. The court will need to entertain, hear evidence, receive evidence, process evidence, analyze evidence and law, and listen to argument of counsel and testimonies of witnesses when we get there, and the court will make a fair decision. So let it be known by all of you who are thinking that the case is going to be over today. It's not going to be over today. It can't possibly be over today. The court has got its work to do, and the parties are presenting their cases and their argument, as the case might be. So let us understand what is involved here and not raise our hope and expectations too high in a manner that will make it difficult for either the court or for us to cope with the dynamics to be involved. Okay. For those of you who have supported me, we are very grateful and we thank you. Your support has meant so much for this wonderful woman. You all know how wrenching this sort of proceeding could be for a family, any family. And these are human beings. It will have its toll on them, but your support had made things a lot easier, and we encourage you to continue providing such support. At the same time, we encourage you to continue to respect the court, okay? The process of the court, the integrity of the court, you must respect the judge and allow the court to make its decision, because at the end of it, the only thing that will matter is that we have a fair and just outcome in accordance with the law. There had been a question of how the parties will address all these issues. Yes, there will be a room, not just in this case, in all divorce cases, because it's important for me to give you an overall picture of divorce cases in Nigeria, so I wouldn't be focusing on this case in any detail. I don't want to be talking specifically about the case of May and you. However, I believe that if I explain to you how divorce cases work, you will be able to make reasonable assessment of what to expect in this particular case. So parties will have an opportunity to discuss. All these issues in contention can be discussed by the parties and their lawyers. They can negotiate, they can see where there could be compromises, and the only thing that cannot be compromised, I want to make sure about it. I want to make sure you know this. Well, the only thing that cannot compromise, the parties cannot just decide that on themselves, is the issue of the marriage itself. Our client May is determined to end the marriage. That's what she had prayed for, and that's what the very minimum she will get. Okay, so the other issues might have rooms for flexibility. We might have rooms in terms of access, how much time each person gets. I mean, the non-custodial parent will get with the children. It can be discussed. It can be discussed, absolutely. Looking into whatever the factors are at that moment. The issue of property distribution, that can be negotiated. That can be discussed, certainly. Okay, so about the question of marriage, all these rumors we are hearing that they're discussing, so for her to go back, I can tell you that there's no basis for such rumor. It's not anything I know of. Every information we have today indicates that Queen May is proceeding with dissolution of marriage, and her reasons are very clear and very well known to the world. So that is what it is. Okay? Again, let me summarize. The case is not going to end today. It's not going to end at the next hearing. There will be a few more hearings before we can talk about the end of the case. Okay? The process is moving on. So on the issue of whether the case is delayed or not, I don't want you to reach such conclusion, because there are so many dynamics in each case which determines how long it will last. This is a full-fledged case. Every issue that could be in dispute in a divorce case is in dispute. Every conceivable issue of dispute is in dispute at the moment, and so it's an issue at the moment. Sorry for the interruption. And we are not expecting it to to be otherwise. So it's not the sort of case that can be rushed. It's not a single issue divorce case. Okay? Some of you have sent questions, which I'm going to identify now and answer as much as possible. Again, I'm guarded between the extremes. I don't want to comment directly on the case, into the details of the case, but at the same time, I don't want to keep quiet and allow the speculation we have in the social media to continue, because those speculations are not healthy. Okay, all those things bloggers told you, the court said or court did not say, they are largely false. And I caution you, as you read these blogs, you must understand that a lot of them are just trying to market themselves by spreading various fantasies. So may we look at some of the questions, if I can see them. I think, all right. I think, all right, somebody had asked about the update. As I speak to you now, the court is in session. It's very important. You know that the court is in session, and both parties are adequately represented. You, Edochie, and his lawyer are in court. Judy did not come to court. May and her lawyers are in court. So everything is proceeding, and you will get a final outcome today, but I can tell you the outcome is going to be within the context of this introduction I made. The case is not coming to an end. And then some of you are saying, oh, set her free. No, that is a very wrong way to understand what is going on. Okay? Set her free suggests she's in bondage or forced into the situation she's in. No, she has done what a reasonable person wants to do. She has filed papers seeking to dissolve the marriage, and in due course that will be achieved. But until that is achieved, we are not in any particular rush, and we are not complaining, okay? Because what matters in the end is justice. The quality of justice delivered, not how fast it was delivered, okay? May is not in any rush. She's not remarrying or any such thing that could lead her or lead anyone to think that she is suffering as a result of the time it takes to resolve the case. So somebody asked for updates. This is actually the live session that I mentioned. I hope this person is listening to me. Okay. We gave instructions and told people to send their questions. As you can see, some people are trying to call. You know, it's unfortunate that they're not following instructions, but, you know, okay. All right. Yes, another person asked a question, and this is important. I think I can take this question within the confines, with the restrictions I had hinted. She asked if there is evidence that the kids are not safe with you, can the court permanently bar him from access to his children? This question is speculative. It is based on if there is evidence. And we are not taking that position at the moment. We have not, May has not in any way indicated that there is harm, any specific harm in terms of access. So it's a speculative question if there is evidence that the kids are not safe with you. We are not taking that position. We are not yet getting into the evidence to support custody issues yet. There will be a hearing. Court will listen to both parties. If at that time we feel we could take this position, the lawyers will make that argument. And of course, the other side will have an opportunity to rebut the argument and advance their own counter argument. So then the person asks again, is there any chance that we will have sole possession of their marital home? Okay, first and foremost, the status of the marital home is going to depend on the court. Okay, we all have fair ideas of what we expect to happen, but it will be improper for me to tell you what the court will do or what I think the court will do. Okay, but I can assure you that at the end of it, there'll be justice for all parties. And if her keeping the marital property is considered the justice of the case, I am confident that the judge will decide what that will be. Okay? So that is the answer to that question. There is another question that we may take on. I think we may take on these questions. Yeah, somebody asked another question and she said, when is the case expected to finish and her prayers for divorce be granted? We don't have a timeline. We don't have a specific date when this will happen. The court is in charge of its calendars and how it schedules the case, but we believe the court will make the right decisions on that. And this question of her prayer of divorce be granted, that is dissolution of marriage, again, the court will decide, but we are very confident that the categorically or definitively states, is she allowed to sue you and his mistress for defamation as a separate case from that of the divorce? Well, I believe that May has shown discretion in what she wants to fight over. She, as you know, she's not a bitter person. She's not a vindictive person. She's not out there to get a pound of flesh. She just wants justice. And on the issue of defamation as independent, separate cause of action, I don't know about that. We do not have any instruction that that is happening at the moment. And we can't speak to it at this moment. All I can tell you is that right now, we are not considering that. Okay? All right. Number 3, she asked, is it possible to sue Judy alone for posting her pictures on social media purporting to wish her a happy birthday because that picture set her up for dragging on social media? Well, I'm sure that those of you who support me have various things that annoyed you in your perception of the conduct of the other party. You understand it? And you're entitled to these opinions, you're entitled to these feelings, but from the point of view of the case in court, I do not think that this is an issue we are dealing with at this moment, okay? This sort of detail is not a thing we are focusing on at this moment, okay? So these are the questions we received, and I'm not sure if we've gotten all questions. I'm not sure we have, but That's what it is, okay? This is more or less what to expect in this case. It's quite sad that what happened, and a lot of emotions have been ignited. And but we are confident that the court is doing justice to it and to it all. And the court, as you know, is a neutral body. The court is going to give fair hearing to all parties, and the court is going to consider evidence properly presented before it. You have to know that not everything you see on social media is going to be sufficient to trigger any particular measure on our part or on the part of anybody. So we take certain things as inevitable and and we're focusing on more important things, more serious things. Okay? I hope with this explanation, you will be able to read and understand what is going on, and we can have less and less of the bloggers' stories, okay? The speculation out there, okay? So, in the absence of any further question, I'm going to end this live session, and unless there is any significant difference from the final outcome of today's proceedings, this is it. I will not have need to give further explanations until much later, okay? Because as I speak to you, the court is in process, is in session.